What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the ZayMoolaSportsPodcast. I'm your host, Isaiah, and since the players of the class of 2026 Pro Football Hall of Fame have been inducted, it's time for me to give y'all my 2027 NFL Hall of Fame predictions. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay, so first up, we have Adrian Peterson, aka AP all day, and this should be a very easy decision because he's one of the greatest running backs in NFL history, as he rushed for 14,918 yards and scored 120 touchdowns. And he was a 7-time Pro Bowler, a 7-time All-Pro. He led the league in rushing touchdowns twice. He led the league in rushing yards 3 times. And he is one of only 9 running backs in NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards in the season, as he ran for 2,097 yards in 2012, en route to win an MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. And AP had a rare combination of size, speed, strength, and agility. He also was very elusive and explosive and had great vision, and he was a game changer. Anytime the ball was in his hands, he could take it to the house for a 60 or 70 yard touchdown. So his talent was undeniable, and he also had incredible consistency and longevity, 2 things that are rare to see from a running back, because we know running backs have an extremely short lifespan in the NFL. But despite that, AP was always a model of consistency. He always produced at an extremely high level, and even as he started to age and enter the latter part of his career, he still produced at a high level, because in 2018 at age 33 he ran for over 1,000 yards, y'all, which is incredibly rare. You don't see too many running backs after they get past age 30 still be that productive and be able to run for over 1,000 yards. So again, that's just a testament to his consistency and longevity. And again, you I absolutely believe he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer, because in my opinion, he's the greatest running back of his generation, one of the greatest running backs in NFL history. So AP should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Next up, we have Rob Gronkowski, and similar to AP, this should be a very easy decision because he's arguably the greatest tight end in NFL history, as he caught 621 passes for 9,286 yards and 92 touchdowns. But beyond his statistics, he has an impeccable resume, as he was a 5-time Pro Bowl, a 4-time first-team All-Pro, a 4-time Super Bowl champion. He led the league in receiving touchdowns in 2011, and he was named to the NFL 2010's All-Decade team, and he was also named to the NFL's 100th anniversary all-time team. And Gronk revolutionized the tight end position, because prior to him, we had never seen a tight end that had his combination of size, speed, strength, athleticism, run blocking, catching ability, and route running. We saw a lot of tight ends that were great blockers but were lackluster pass catchers, or we saw some tight ends that were really good pass catchers but lackluster blockers. But we had never saw a tight end, y'all, that was an elite run blocker and an elite pass catcher. I mean, Gronk was basically a wide receiver in a tight end's body, who is an exceptional run blocker, and that's what made him so unique, because he could catch the ball and run routes at an incredibly high level like a wide receiver. But then when the Patriots and Bucks needed him to get in there and block and, basically be an extra offensive lineman on the field, he can do that at a high level. So his combination of route running, catching ability, and incredible run blocking definitely warrants him being a first ballot Hall of Famer. And again, y'all, I don't really think there's a question as to if Rob Gronkowski is a first ballot Hall of Famer, because you will make a strong case that he's the greatest tight end in NFL history. And anytime you are viewed as being a top 3 or top 5 or even the best player at your position in your sports history, and you are absolutely deserving of being a first ballot Hall of Famer. So again, very easy decision for Rob Gronkowski. Next up, we have Torrey Holt, and it is time for him to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. He's been on the precipice for so many years, as he's a 7-time finalist, but it is finally time for my brother to get inducted into the Hall of Fame, because he is one of the greatest receivers in NFL history, as he caught 920 passes for 13,382 yards and 74 touchdowns. And he was a 7-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time first-team All-Pro. He led the league in receiving yards twice, and he was named to the NFL 2000s All-Decade team. And he also has the most consecutive seasons with at least 1,300 receiving yards with 6, and he led the 2000s in receiving yards with 12,594. And y'all, I think people have really underrated Torrey Holt's career because he is never mentioned with the other great receivers of his era in Randy Moss and T.O., but his numbers are very comparable to theirs. Again, he led the 2000s decade with receiving yards with 12,594. Not T.O., not Randy Moss, it was Torrey Holt. And I know a lot of people say, well, it was easy for him to dominate because he played alongside Marshall Faulk and Isaac Bruce, but y'all, Torrey Holt absolutely torched DBs, had great body control, had great hands, was an exceptional route runner, had really good speed and explosiveness. And you ask any of the defensive backs that he went up against, y'all, they will tell you that he is absolutely deserving of being a Hall of Famer. I feel like he should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer because you look at his talent, his accolade, and his resume, he absolutely should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. But y'all, long overdue. It is time for Torrey Holt to get into the Hall of Fame. I know it's a logjam at the receiver position with he, Reggie Wayne, and Steve Smith Sr. I think those other two guys are very deserving as well, but it is time for my brother Torrey Holt to get his respect and get inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Next up, we have Richard Sherman, and this is probably going to surprise a few people, but I believe he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer because he's one of the greatest cornerbacks in NFL history, as he had 37 interceptions and 116 pass deflections, and he was a 5-time Pro Bowler, a 5-time All-Pro, a Super Bowl champion. He led the league in interceptions in 2013 and was named to the NFL 2010s All-Decade team. And for those that are confused as to why I believe Richard Sherman should be a first ballot Hall of Famer, he dominated the cornerback position for 5 years. From 2012 to 2016, Richard Sherman was either the best or second best corner in the NFL. If you want to rank, he and Darrelle Revis, or you want to go Darrelle Revis and then Richard Sherman, however you want to rank them, he was definitely a top 2 cornerback from 2012 to 2016. And I believe that if you dominate your position for a 5-year span, you should definitely be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Y'all, he truly dominated the cornerback position. I mean, he had incredible size, being 6'3", had great ball skills, was great in man and zone coverage, had great awareness and football IQ, and he always seemed like he was able to read and diagnose plays before they even happened. That's why he was rarely out of position. He was always in position to make plays on the ball, and he was just so passionate and intense as a player. He was the heart and soul of that Legion of Boom defense, leading them to the Super Bowl in 2014, and they should have won another Super Bowl in 2015, but I digress. Richard Sherman should absolutely be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And again, in my opinion, anytime you dominate your position for a 5-year period, that warrants you being a first ballot Hall of Famer, y'all. There's not been too many cornerbacks in NFL history that had the 5-year stretch that Richard Sherman had, where he was just shutting down his side of the field. I mean, quarterbacks were absolutely scared to throw in his vicinity because they knew if they did, that more than likely than not, he was going to be there. He was going to either intercept or he was going to bat it down because he just had a phenomenal skill set. So again, I absolutely believe Richard Sherman should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Next up, we have Terrell Suggs, aka T Sizzle. And I was astonished that he was not a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I absolutely believe he should get in his second year of eligibility because he's one of the greatest edge rushers in NFL history, as he had 139 sacks and 202 tackles for loss, which are the most tackles for loss in NFL history. And he was a 7-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time first-team All-Pro. He won Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2003. He won Defensive Player of the Year in 2011, and he was a 2-time Super Bowl champion. And when you think of those great Ravens defenses of the 2000s, obviously everyone mentions Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, but I think a lot of people overshadow the impact that T Sizzle had. I mean, this was a guy that was a ferocious pass rusher, had great speed, strength, and agility, could really bend the corner well and just wreak havoc on the quarterbacks. But also, he was an elite run defender, which is very rare, y'all, because typically when edge rushers are great pass rushers, they're not going to be the best run defenders. But as I mentioned, he has the most tackles for loss in NFL history with 202. So that shows you that he was also an elite run defender who set the edge well, made plays in the running game. He was just a total package at the edge rush position. You talk about the intensity that he played with, the swagger that he brought to the game. He absolutely should be a Hall of Famer. I mean, y'all, the guy is top 10 in sacks, and he has the most tackles for loss in NFL history, so he definitely should be a Hall of Famer. And last but certainly not least, we have Bill Belichick, who in my opinion is the greatest coach in NFL history. And I'm still astonished that he was not a first ballot Hall of Famer, because you cannot discuss the history of the NFL without mentioning Bill Belichick's name, because he had a profound impact on the NFL, as he has the most Super Bowl wins as a head coach with 6, the most Super Bowl appearances as a head coach with 9, the most divisional championships as a head coach with 17, the most playoff appearances as a head coach with 19, the most playoff wins as a head coach with 31, the third most regular season wins with 302, and he was a 3-time AP NFL Coach of the Year. He was named to the NFL 2000s and 2010s All-Decade Team, and he was also named to the NFL's 100th anniversary all-time team. And so his resume is absolutely impeccable. I don't think we'll ever see a coach have this amount of success the way Bill Belichick did. But beyond his resume, he's the orchestrator of one of the greatest dynasties in sports history. Not just the greatest dynasty in NFL history, one of the greatest dynasties in sports history. As from 2001 to 2019, the New England Patriots won 6 Super Bowls. And I know a lot of people want to give Tom Brady credit for the Patriot dynasty, y'all, but we have to give Bill Belichick, I think, most of that credit, because he developed Tom Brady into what he became. Because when Tom Brady came to the league, he was a 6th-round pick who was a raw prospect. Nobody thought Tom Brady would become the greatest quarterback in NFL history, arguably the greatest player in NFL history. No one thought that when he entered the league, but Bill Belichick molded him, turned him into an elite player, y'all. But he also established the Patriot way, which was just built on toughness, team-oriented mindset, no nonsense. And that's why the Patriots were able to have so much success, because Bill Belichick installed that foundation within the organization, y'all, and the players bought into it. And then he also, made really great moves like bringing in Randy Moss and Wes Welker and Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski and Deion Branch and Richard Seymour and Asante Samuel and Ty Law. I mean, the Darrell Reeves. Like, Bill Belichick just did such a great job of just always, bringing in the right players to really just help continue to establish his culture, help the Patriots win. And that's exactly what they did. They did it better than any team, y'all, in NFL history. And again, a lot of people want to give Tom Brady credit for their success, but give Bill Belichick a lot of credit. He was the orchestrator. He was the mastermind of the Patriot way, of the Patriot dynasty. And he's also one of the greatest defensive coaches in NFL history, arguably the greatest defensive coach in NFL history. So when you look at his resume, when you look at his success, he absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, y'all. Again, he should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, because in my opinion, he is the greatest coach in NFL history. But it's definitely time for him to get in. And honorable mentions to Steve Smith Sr., Marshall Yonda, Ben Roethlisberger, Jari Evans, Reggie Wayne. Honorable mentions to those guys. Also Frank Gore and Jason Witten. It's a lot of guys, y'all, that are very deserving of being inducted into the Hall of Fame. But this is my 2027 NFL Hall of Fame predictions. Again, Adrian Peterson, Rob Gronkowski, Torrey Holt, Richard Sherman, Terrell Suggs, and Bill Belichick. There I have it, man. This was another episode of ZayMoolaSportsPodcast. Please give me your 2027 NFL Hall of Fame predictions in the comment box below. Remember, y'all, laughter is good medicine. So what? Make sure you get your daily dose. And I'm in them, and I love y'all. God bless. Peace.